If you're watching this, chances are you've already seen videos like this, so I'll try to make mine brief. Hey, what's up guys? My name is On, and I'm going to share my first impressions for the Season 2B. First off, multiplayer balance changes. For the no stock attachment on the DRH, COD Mobile said that they would buff the ADS time and lower the hit flinch, and a lot of people were worried that they would make this gun even more overpowered than it already is. But it appears that they did the opposite of what they said they would promise to do. According to the new in-game stats, they actually lowered the ADS time, which is just slightly noticeable, and increased the flinch. It also appears that they might have shadow nerfed the ADS accuracy for the no stock attachment, just slightly. But it could just be the new movement and shaking effect. More on that later. For the no stock attachment on the ASM-10, they said that they would increase the flinch, and they did, but it's more than slightly. And just like the DRH, they also shadow nerfed the ADS accuracy. For the no stock attachment on the ICR, they nerfed the ADS accuracy like they said they would, and it's also more than slightly. Personally, I feel like this one's a bit unjustified because the ICR is not a top gun, but it is popular in casual play, but it didn't deserve the nerf. For the OWC marksman barrel on the HBR, they said that they would reduce the negative effects, and they did. Instead of lowering your movement speed to 6%, it's now just 4%. But they also introduced strafing speed as a negative, and they also appeared to shadow buff the ADS accuracy. For the DLQ, they increased the damage slightly, which doesn't make that much of a difference except for wall banging. For the MIP stopping power reload on the Arctic 50, it appears that they reduced the damage on the legs like they said they would, and that you can no longer one-shot to the legs, which is a good thing. They also lowered the ADS time like they said they would. They said that they would increase the time between shots, which doesn't appear to be the case. And also they might have decreased the amount of mags that you've gotten. They didn't change the magazine size, but they may have changed the amount of bullets that you can carry. The YKM stock on the LMGs received a big buff. The ADS time went from 5% faster to 10% faster, and they also appear to have shadow buffed the ADS accuracy, just slightly. For the MSMC, the OWC marksman barrel has slightly better vertical recoil control, but just like with the HBR, they introduced negative strafing speed. And this might be a mistake, but they also shadow nerfed the ADS accuracy. Maybe it's a mistake, or maybe the in-game stats don't mean anything. I'm not sure. They also said that they would nerf the ADS accuracy on the combat stock for the KRM, but it appears to have been slightly buffed. Now personally, I use no stock on my shotguns, but I guess this makes it easier for those people who have not unlocked all the attachments yet. The Annihilator keeps getting nerfed. It's even more useless against score streaks. They reduced the blast radius on the gravity spikes, which is a good thing. Personally, I found the gravity spikes to be inconsistent. At this point, everybody knows the jump when somebody uses them. The blast radius on the War Machine has been decreased, but they also reduced the damage reduction effect, so I'm guessing that they tighten the lethal zones so that you have to be more accurate to be effective. For the Battle Pass, the AS Val and the Napalm is now available, and I'll have to grind for it. Later on, the new SPR and Recon perk is supposed to be available in the seasonal challenges, which I'm looking forward to. Right now there's a free KN44 skin. As per my last upload, I'm a big fan of the Lucky Board at the moment. For other free stuff, we got a free Charlie skin for everyone. Also, there's this free crate that gave everyone a free double XP card. Oh, and they decided to recommend some legendary skins to people. Am I gonna buy it? No. I got bills to pay. Now, for the gameplay changes, it's a bit rough. Movement speed feels different. It feels a lot slower. And my aim feels like I'm using gyro when I don't even use gyro. Like the frames feel higher and smoother, but everything just feels slippery. It's kind of like one of those YouTube videos when somebody takes like an anime fight scene and makes it 60 FPS, but it just feels unnatural. Also, your screen shakes when you're shooting. Some guns have it worse than others, like especially the Fennec. Slide jumping feels weird, and you just abruptly just stop. Like momentum doesn't even carry through, or barely through. Drop shotting has this little bump to it. The only thing that really feels fast are the grenade throws, which is nice because I tend to die while throwing grenades a lot. For some reason, if you check the leaderboards while you're in a game, it doesn't show your deaths. I can't tell how badly I'm doing, or my teammates, or the enemy team. On the plus side, you do feel less sticky when you're running against walls or other obstacles. Moving on to maps. Shipment 1944 is supposed to change into its Modern Warfare 2019 version. It's now easier to jump out of windows. And this shortcut on raid has finally been patched, so you no longer get stuck. They're bringing in some sort of snipers only mode that also includes marksman barrels like the Kilo and the SKS. By the way, the SKS is finally grindable, so you don't have to play Battle Royale for it. They introduced a new map, Shoot House, which is really good actually. Personally, I really enjoy it. They're bringing back night mode like I wanted to. Apparently the night vision is supposed to have a battery function to it, so you can't just constantly spam it. Now there's a reason to take it off. EMP is supposed to temporarily disable it. They also reworked the lighting, which is something that I actually wanted. Score streaks and trip mines are now distinguishable between teammates and enemy teams, because before it was just a green filter. Also, it appears that they are including a Attack of the Undead crossover with night mode, which could be really cool. For hardpoint, OPG players are getting a buff for the amount of points that they can get for doing the objective. Prop Hunt is coming back, and it's coming to Tunisia, so we'll just have to wait for Ferg to break the map again.
What you gonna do, buddy boy? You're gonna do nothing! You'll do nothing, boy!
For ranked, SBMM is supposedly less harsh and legendary, so I might have to give it a try. For Battle Royale, they included a tank battle mode, but Alcatraz is gone. They reworked the weapons list. All guns are more accurate and have less recoil, except for the AK-117 and AK-47. The Annihilator and Tempest have been buffed, and grenades can be thrown farther. So what are my thoughts on the new season? Personally, I'm not a big fan of the movement changes. I can't play as aggressively as I used to, so I'll just have to play more defensively. The balance changes weren't exactly what I was looking forward to. I mean, it's nice that the Arctic 50 finally got nerfed, or at least the stopping power did. So I'm guessing that people will finally stop using stopping power and try to play it without it. I was really hoping that the Man of War would get a nerf, because it did not deserve the buff that it got in Season 1B. They should not have increased the ADS time and the mag size like they did back then. I'm not sure what to say about the AS Val just yet, because I don't have it yet. It appears that we're going to be stuck with the same 3-shot AR and aggressive sniper meta, and maybe the occasional shotgun here and there. I'm not sure what to say about SMGs just yet, or LMGs. We'll just have to wait and see. With that being said, I'll just be on my way to grind for the Battle Pass and seasonal challenges, and I'll try to play with all the guns to make sure what's changed and what hasn't. Maybe later in the season, I'll make like a tier list, but I'm not too sure just yet. My name is On, and I'm off.